out of the lineup on Saturday. What went into the decision and what went into that?
Just wanted to be heavier up front.
In a series now against Western Michigan where they are so big and so physical, how do you go and attack that? Like four battles, corners, they're gonna bring physicality.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're not a really big team up front. We're built fast and with a lot of speed, and there's just some teams that play us really hard with the physicality and that bring a little bit more beef. And we got to do what we got to do to try and match up with those teams. I thought Duluth played us really hard and heavy. Western's going to do the same, and we got to counteract that with guys that play a little bit heavier and a little bit more downhill than others, right? So we got to do what we can to counteract that.
What do you reflect on last weekend in Duluth? Probably a disappointing result for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've built the expectation where we expect to win every game we play. I think that perspective sometimes is needed in life and certainly in sport. And Duluth's a hell of a team. I've said it for a long time since we played them here. I just think that they're way better than their record. A lot of draft picks, a lot of high draft picks, a lot of really talented kids. Obviously, a legendary coach, a program that has won 3 national championships in the last decade. And what's perspective, I think, is feeling a little disappointed going on the road to such a good program and getting 3 out of 6 points and not feeling content, right? I think that speaks volumes about, most importantly, where our players have put ourselves in position this year. And this is what I said to him today. I said, hey, if you go back to November after our first Omaha loss, we're 3-7-1, and over the course of our next 20, we're going to go 14-4-2. 3 of those losses are going to be in overtime. One's going to be with a 4-1 lead that we kind of stunk away, and put ourselves in a position to be where we need to be to have, if we have success over the next 4 games from a pairwise standpoint, to get into the NCAA tournament, which we are, where we need to be to still, if we have a great weekend this weekend, take over first place in the conference. There's not a guy in this room, including myself, that wouldn't have taken that. That's where we are. It's exactly where we are. So we try our best to get our players and everybody in our program to always focus on what we do have, not what we don't. What we have is complete control of our destiny, both from a conference standpoint and a pairwise standpoint, with an unbelievable hockey team coming in here this weekend. And that's an opportunity that we have earned and that we have created for ourselves. And it's something that I'm really proud of our team for.
Coach, Western Michigan has outstanding goaltending this season. What have you seen from them, and what makes it so difficult to game plan for the goaltending?
Yeah, there's just 2 really good goalies. I mean, obviously, their older guy, Rowe, has just gotten better and better and better as he's progressed throughout his career. And found a home there in Kalamazoo that just suits his game, and he's a great goalie. And then obviously the freshman's world class in every way, and I mean he probably easily could have been the world junior starter had they not had a guy that's been there twice, 2 years prior to this year. So just it's legitimately a 2-headed monster, and it's one that you're just going to be good goalies. You got to get pucks on them and second chance opportunities and create traffic and make it hard on them. And that's what we're going to have to do.
And what can you say about what they do defensively? They don't allow a ton of shots. What have you seen there?
I mean, they're good offensively and defensively. That's why they've only lost 5 games. They haven't lost a game in regulation in conference play. So the challenge is steep. Yeah, they're a hell of a team. With Furch is one of the best coaches in college hockey, and I have a ton of respect and admiration for him and how his staff goes about their business and how they've built their program into a winner every year. That's what we're trying to do here.
You allowed a couple special team goals this past weekend, and now you face another top 5 power play. How do you attack that? What do you do?
I think the special teams goals, they're going to happen. I mean, like it's inevitable. You need your goalies to be your best killers, and I thought last weekend, unfortunately on Friday, that we weren't. That wasn't the case. So our guys are capable. They both have been great throughout the year, but we need them now in the stretch to be our best killers if our kill's going to get the job done for us.
What did you want to see out of Pat on Friday?
Just stopping the pucks that need to be stopped, right? And that's where he's been so good all year, is making the saves that he should make. and being that steady presence for us back there. And I just felt like a couple of their goals, you don't want to see goals hit the middle of the net at this stage of the season. He made some big saves. And at the end of the day, he only let in 2 goals in regulation. So we did not lose because of Pav Friday at any level. We didn't lose because of goaltending on any level. But what you want to see at this stage of the season is when your team, and our team has not really struggled to score very much this year. We outside of that first stretch, we've been a really good offensive team, but obviously it wasn't going in for us. We're missing open nets. We're missing tap-ins. Their goalie made some big saves. You want to see your goalie win you a game, win you a game. And unfortunately, that didn't happen Friday. But he'll be fine. He's won us some games this year, and I don't think either goalie has directly lost us a game this year. But I'm hard on our goalies. I was a goalie. I challenge our goalies, and I think goalies should be treated like everyone else on the roster. They shouldn't be the exception because they're a goalie. I know we're all a little weird, but we're not the exception.
Coach, when you talk about like the way teams responded since that loss to Omaha, but in going forward, winning those games and expecting to win, how do you feel that just as a group they've handled kind of having that target of teams wanting to come in and beat you?
Yeah, I mean, look, like we're a clear second place team with still have the opportunity this weekend to reclaim first. We have a target on our backs. I think they've done a tremendous job. We came into the season kind of being on the hunt, and to their credit, and it's all because of the players. They turned the season around and became the hunted, and that's an exciting thing. That's what we want. That's what we want to be. We want to be front runners. We want to be a top 10 perennial program here that's fighting to get in the Frozen Four every year, and that's where we think we are.
Coach, now you're on the bubble, 4 games to go against really good teams in your conference. Is it hard to have your players focus on just Friday and not the rest of the season, what you have to do?
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, these guys, they understand how good of a team we have coming in here, and how dominant they've been in our league this year. And it's not like they've had a cupcake schedule outside. I mean, they played BC, Michigan State, Michigan, and they have 5 losses. It's a 5 or 4? It's 5. Yeah. It's impressive. It's hard to do. We went through last year and lost 8 games. And to go through and have a single digit, loss in the loss column is really hard to do. You got to win a lot of overtime games. You got to get a lot of bounces. But those teams that do it create those bounces, right? They earn those bounces, and that's what Western's done this year.
Do you see a structural weak point in their game that you guys can attack and you think maybe help you beat?
There's no structural weak points in what they do and how they do it. We just gotta. This is the true week where our identity is fast and relentless. If we don't play fast, we won't have success this weekend. If we don't play relentless, we won't have success this weekend. If we want to do just one of the two, we won't have success this weekend. We have to do both, right? We have to play to our identity and believe that our identity and what we have on our side is enough to have success against anybody, because it is, and we've proven that. But without both, we won't have success.
Did you feel like your team played to its identity this past weekend?
In stretches, yeah, I do. I do absolutely in stretches, and obviously not for a complete 60 minutes. We did not. I thought that Friday I really liked our third period. I really liked it. It felt like we just were playing downhill. Really committed to getting pucks in behind them, establishing a forecheck, which we didn't do great in the first 2. But what I loved about our team this past weekend is while we weren't as sharp as we've been over the last month and a half, there was a lot of resiliency. They scored twice. Both nights first, and our guys didn't wilt and were able to take the lead back both nights. And look, Saturday, the way that we responded, because I thought the first 10 minutes of their game Saturday was probably their best 10 minutes of the weekend. They were really good. And our guys withstood it, and then grabbed a lead going into the third, and the bounce they got to tie it was just, that's puck luck. It was a crazy bounce. And even though they got that bounce 11 seconds in to tie it, I thought we were the better team in the third. We just couldn't buy a goal. We had tons of chances. We've talked about all year. our overtime record. Both nights we had the opportunity to end the game, and we didn't do it. Their goalie made some big saves, and we didn't put the puck in the net. But every overtime this year, you go back and you look, every overtime this year, minus the Michigan tie, where Gibby stood on his head to keep us in it, we've had chances to end the game. So it's not that we're playing poorly in 3-on-3. We just haven't capitalized on our chances, and other teams have. Moving forward, you're probably going to see at least one overtime game this weekend. That's just things are tight. We have 4 in a row. Teams are tightening up, and you're going to have to win games in 3-on-3, and we're probably going to have to win one this weekend.
You mentioned taking Shane out of the lineup last weekend to beef up the lineup a little bit. Are you going to continue to use some of the same this weekend?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Western's a big, hard-heavy team, so we're going to look at some different options and what we can do to kind of counteract that and give us some physicality up front that we lack in other areas, and we'll continue to kind of make that determination throughout the week.
How are you guys feeling health-wise going into this weekend as a whole?
Pretty good. Obviously we miss Benji a lot, and I mean, just his leadership, his tenacity, his grit, his blue-collar approach to everything that he does is really what we're lacking right now, and it's hard to replace that, a kid that has that experience and the way that he just does everything in his life. It's hard to replace that on the ice. So, we're looking for volunteers.
Is there more of a sense of pressure with this past weekend not going how you wanted to within these past 4 games as you guys are kind of controlling your destiny?
Yeah, I mean, I think that pressure's a privilege, right? And that was the message today. I mean, it's we need to have fun with this. We've earned this. This is a great opportunity. This is what this program has built for and towards for the last decade, is to be in a league and be in late February in front of what's going to be a sold-out crowd against one of, if not the best team in the country to date, and have it within our destiny and our control to take the season by the throat, and that's what we have. That's a pressure that you can only look at as a privilege. And again, that was the message today, and I know our guys absolutely are going to embrace it and empty the tanks on Friday.
You talked about the chances that you guys were getting. Why do you think they're not falling in for you guys?
This weekend,
Yeah, Saturday.
just puck luck. This is Friday and Saturday. I mean, it's hockey, Guys are doing everything to earn the chances and get the chances, and tap-ins, open nets, whatever it is. And I've never told a player here that I expect points or goals or assists, and you just got to stay positive with it. You expect 2 things, in our program, and that's effort and attitude. And if you have those 2 things, I genuinely believe that we'll have success, and I believe that's why we have had success, because for the most part, especially over the last 20 games, effort's been great, attitude's been tremendous, and there's going to be nights where they don't go in. That's just the way the game works, and you just got to keep going at it.
You reference overtimes, and of course against good teams, overtime is possible. The pairwise doesn't look as fondly on overtime wins or losses. How do you view an overtime win or loss versus trying to get it done in regulation?
Well, it feels good, right? It feels good when there's nothing worse. Even though the win or loss in overtime doesn't really affect the pairwise that much. I mean, if we would have beat Denver in overtime and we would have beaten Duluth a game in overtime, we'd still be in the exact same pairwise position we are today, right? But you still go in the locker room feeling good about winning. You still get a credit for a win in the win column. And that has to mean something. At the end of the day, we're about winning hockey games, and the rules are the rules, and the structure is the structure, and the pairwise is the pairwise. But we want to win. We want to feel good going in the room about a result, and it's as simple as that. Anything else? Thanks. Yep.